Good morning, Julie. How you doing?
Morning, I'm doing fine.
Good. All right. I have two things that I'm going to interrupt our class with today. Um, I'm actually signed in into two different accounts now. Um, there's a class that is having challenges with getting onto Edico, and I need to assist them um, in doing that. The class ends in another 45 minutes. I need to join them now. Um, and then I have a meeting closer to the end of our class time, so I will let you guys out a little early today. Um, I'm going to ask in the meantime, were you able to, what document we're looking at again? What topic we reached? Um, oh, remind me, what topic we're looking at again? Julie, what topic we're looking at?
Sequence and series.
Mm-hmm. For sequence and series. I'm going to ask that you go through the document, continue going through the document for me. I'm right here. One ear is plugged in, listening to you guys. Just read through the document. Let me just sort this out. The teacher is actually letting me in the classroom now, and then I will come in and talk to you about the stuff. Can you pass my headset from? Is that right? All right, yeah, so just stay where you are. You're Julie, go and read. I'm right here. Just keep in touch. Worst case scenario, I'm going to keep the chat open. So you can just touch base with me in the chat and I'll know whether or not you have any issue. All right? Thank you.
Okay, sir.
All right, cool. I can tell the others when they're coming for me, please. I'm just trying to help her out because the students are in a troublesome state. All right, mom?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
Morning.
All right, guys. Um, Orion,
Morning, sir.
one in support. All right. So, Miss Kendra, I am, I'm giving you up for adoption. Giving you up for adoption. Good adoption. You have not come to class. You have not sent me a message to tell me why not coming to class. I don't know what is happening to you. Um, Call CD and complain. I don't want you back. I'm giving you for adoption. Oh, I am so very sorry. I am actually in a class. I apologize, students. Please forgive me. I'm talking to some of my students and I didn't see one for quite a while, so I was giving her up for adoption. So please forgive me. Um, don't laugh. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Oops. All right, you see? Yes, I am. It would be nice if I could go because I'm actually in a class and I just asked those students to pause for me. All right, guys, I'm going to speak to the other class now. So I'm going to ask that you just give me a few, just continue reading over for me, please, yeah, guys. All right, cool. All right, my bunkins. I am finished with that presentation with those students. I am now going to switch over to the computer to have your class so that I can share my screen because so that I can share my screen. Hold on. All right. So are you with me now? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, good, thanks. And thank you for the time to assist some students, some struggling students. Um, I can do that with this group because I know this group is moving fast ahead. Oh, so let me come back to you now, Miss Kendra. Kendra, I will you something miss out, you know? Because I can tell you, you see them 2 year, when I lie, when I give them the work, them sit down and then complete the work. I'm not saying that you don't do the work, we do that, you know, but it's just that you miss out. Ouch. I hope you saw the work in the group though.
Sir, I did it last night.
Good job. Very nice. And I like that, Kendra. What I like is when you miss a class, guys, it is not going to be my responsibility to go through and to say to you, this is what we did. Yours is going to be the task. Yours is going to be the task to get the job done, right? So she said she went through last night. Or if she has an issue, you know, come to me and say, boy, sir, I'm not seeing what is happening, so forth and so on, and then we can talk about it. All right. So let me share my screen. And we went through some stuff. I did promise you that we want to go through, I think that's where we stopped. We want to go through our arithmetic progression today. And whether or not we get to start the geometric progression is not an issue for me. What is important is that at least you are able to see what is happening. And that's what I want to get of you. I want you to understand, to get it, to move on with it. All right. So, were you able to look at the second question? Were you able to look at the second question? Were you, this one here on the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions regarding that question, Orion?
No, sir.
Julie, or you stay? Take your time. All right, guys. All right, so I'm gonna stop share and then start sharing again. That's the only way I know how to get off this thing off the screen here. So when it comes on, I just stop share and get rid of it and come back. Julie, I'm waiting on you, honey. Any question Orion said that he's okay with this? How about you?
Sir, me never finish go through my own because me have urgent matter for deal with.
Okay, all right. Kendra, you went through this one? You know what? All right, let's go. So it says given 13579. It says given 13579, and that's a sequence. 13579. I know that these are the numbers, these are the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, then 11, then 30, then 15, and so forth and so on. Evaluate the sum of the first 15 terms. They want us to find the sum of the first 15 terms. So you notice what they gave us? They gave us only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this dot, 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 dot means that there are additional terms that we're supposed to be adding up to get our stuff, right? It means that there are additional terms that we're supposed to be adding. So we're not going to write it out. If we write it out, we can get the same answer, but I'm going to tell you how the questions are written. The questions are written in such a way that makes it very difficult for you to write it out like that. Because the question may say, evaluate the sum of the first 35 terms. Who can really sit down and write out 35 of them numbers and go sit down and add them up for 2 marks or 3 marks, right? Nobody. We need to understand what is happening, so it is that we know how to go about getting our stuff done up. So in the question, we need to identify some unknowns. And for the arithmetic progression, there are several unknowns that we must find. So these are the questions you ask yourself. What is the first term? And the first term is the first number in the sequence or the series. And in that case, it's going to be 1. So A is 1. And then we're going to ask ourselves, how many terms do we have in it? And the question says 15. Hold on, please. All right, so it says number of terms, and we say 15 terms. How do you know that it has 15 terms? Because the question asks us to evaluate the sum of the first 15 terms. So we know n which represents the number of terms. We know n that represents the number of terms is 15. So we have that information.
Sir.
Yes, hon.
So I'm going to be excused from class at the next class.
Oh, yes, you're on Orion. All right, yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Yes,
right
sir.
ahead. You're on Orion. All right, cool.
All right, sir.
All right, Kendra?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just me and you alone.
Sir, I had a query, from last night, and I was
Uh-huh.
going through the document.
Mm-hmm.
I did one of the questions, and for one of them, I didn't get the same answer
What was
because
that?
there was a positive number and I got a negative number.
Find it for me, please. I may have made a mistake.
Hold on, I'm trying to find the question, so. Where is it? So I'm trying to find it. Give me a minute.
All right, take your time.
Sir, you see where you have the Dropbox activity, and it's number 6, I think. Number 6.
You know, every time I say I'm going to number the pages in the document, let me just do it right now. Every time I say I'm going to number the pages, insert page number. Every time I say I'm going to number the pages, I keep forgetting. every time, you know, and I keep forgetting. So let me just do something here. Control L. All right, so let me just make that state here. So go here. So all right, so no longer can you just say Dropbox. You can say page what, sir? Page what? Let me see what page. No. Right here, sir?
Hold on. Yes, sir. Go up a little more. Yes, sir. That one.
Number
Wait.
6?
Yes, sir.
All right, so
If it is because the common difference cannot be a negative number or
the
something.
common difference can be negative.
Because 7 minus 12 would be negative 5. 7 minus 12 would be, yes, sir, negative 5.
Hold on. Did I do the solution?
Yes, sir.
No, hold on. Okay, all right. So that's the solution for that question. All right, I never did the solution for. All right. So what this one is saying, this one is slightly different. This one is slightly different from the ones up top. It says in an AP, in an arithmetic progression, the eighth term is -2. The 8th term is -2, and the 13th term is -7. And the 13th term is -7. The 8th term is -2, and the 13th term is -7. Determine the following. The first term, the common difference, write on the first 10 terms of the series, the sum of the first 20 terms. The sum of the first 20 terms. All right, no problem. So, so the 8th term is -2. The 8th term is given by A plus 7D. The 8th term is given by A plus 7D. It is 1 less. Why is it 1 less, sir? Let us look at this. A plus n minus 1 times D, and that is the last term. Now, if n is 8, so we have A plus 8 minus 1 times D, and 8 minus 1 is 7. So we have A plus 7D, right? We have A plus 7D, all right? So that's how you get the first equation, to be A plus 7D, all right? And then the second one says, and the sum of the 13th term is -7. So we have A plus 12D. Did you figure out the A plus 7D and the A plus 12D?
Yes, sir.
Nice job. And then we're solving those simultaneously now. We're solving those simultaneously. So we are subtracting one equation from the other. So we're subtracting equation 1 from equation, we're subtracting equation 2 from 1. So it's equation 1 from equation 2, whichever one you do. What did I do?
So, sir, equation 1 from equation 2.
Equation 1 from equation 2, good. So I'm going to say A minus A is 0. No, I'm saying subtract 1 from equation 2, right? So let me just call this, let me just label the equations. It's always important that you do this so that students don't have to ask, sir, which is equation 1? Which is equation 2? All right, so now you see equation 1 and you see equation 2. So you now know which is which. So it says we're subtracting equation 1 from equation 2. So it's going to be actually 2 minus 1. So it's going to be this A down here minus A is 0. 12D minus 7D is 5D. And -7 minus a minus 2 is -5. So I think that's where you went wrong.
Sir, I went wrong when I minus equation 2 from equation 1.
And that's fine. If you said 2 from 1, you could say 7 minus 12 is a -5D, don't?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then you would say no, -2 minus -7 will give you a +D, don't?
Positive what, sir? Negative 2 minus 7. Negative
Negative
2
2
minus 7.
is going to
I
give you a
got
positive
negative
5.
5. Negative
Positive 5.
5.
Positive 5.
Really?
Yeah, man. Minus 2 minus 7. That 7 becomes positive. Put it in the calculator. Negative 2 minus 7 until what you get.
Oh, yes, sir. It's a positive 5.
Right. So anyway you check it, you'd have still been correct. So if you wanted to subtract 1 from 2 or 2 from 1, you still get the same answer.
So that's where I went wrong, sir.
All right. So I'm happy. I'm happy for you. So this is where you reach in the document.
Sir, I passed that part. I reached at
You did all the questions.
yes, sir. I reached at geometric progression.
All right. Guess what? Continue reading through geometric, and then let me know if you have any challenges. You hear?
Yes, sir.
And then I'll come through and do this up. Very good, Kendra. I'm really very proud. Very nice. All right. Go on work on it now. Soon come. Go on
Okay,
read through. I'll give you about maybe 10-15 minutes. Yeah.
yes, sir.
All right. Cool. All right, Kendra.
So, I actually started geometric progression, but
Okay,
I had
start it for me, please, quickly.
sir,
In the room. Say it again, Kendra. You started geometry progression, yeah,
and I had a problem with one of the questions, so I kind of stopped because I wasn't getting the same thing that you got.
All right, so which one of the questions you were having a problem with?
Um, uh,
I have it on the screen now. Is it this example that I'm putting up here?
so number 3,
All right, so you understand what is happening right here?
yes, sir.
Number 3 says the 8th term of a geometry progression is 16, while the 5th term is 2. Determine the common ratio. The first
Oh,
term.
that one. Oh, yes.
Which one? The common ratio?
Wait. Yes, sir. That one. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
The 5th term. Oh, I see. Sir, I see where right now. Hold on. I don't know if my eyes are misleading me, but I had 1 for the 5th term. The 5th term is equal to 1. That's what I did. So let me see.
No, man, the 5th term is 1/8.
They said the 8th term of GP is 60.
So remember the difference between the AP and the GP. The 8th term is going to be AR to the 7. So when you're looking at, so you're not going to solve it like, so for the arithmetic progression for the 8th term, it will be A plus 7D, because that's arithmetic. But for geometric,
that will be AR.
for the 7.
Yes, sir. AR.
Good job. All right, so you want me to work that one for you then?
So I'm going to do it because I'm going to try it again and then I'll tell you.
I have no problem. I have no problem. So AR to the 7, while the 5th term is going to be AR to the 4. 16, and the 5th term is 2. Look at that and tell me if you agree with it. So the 8th term of a GP is 16, and then remember it's divided. So the denominator is for the other one. The 5th term is 2, so it's going to be AR equals 2. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right, so, and then now from here, from indices, logarithms that we have already covered, you recognize that when you're dividing and the bases are the same, you subtract the denominator power from the numerator power.
Yes, sir. So it'll be 7 minus 4 and you can see it will be R raised to the power of 3.
Right, I recognize that the A's, of course, will cancel out, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Nice job. Proud of you. Nice. All right, so I'm subtracting 4 from the numerator. So 4 minus 4 is 0, and anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. So what I'm going to have is just AR to the 3rd equals 8. So I'm going to have AR to the 3rd, sorry, not AR, R to the 3rd, right. R to the 3rd is equals to 8. And then if R to the 3rd equals 8, I'm finding the cube root of those. When I find a cube root, it means that I'm raising everything to the 1/3 power, 1/3, and I'm doing that to both sides.
So it'd be R equal to.
So R is going to be equal to 2. Very good. So R is equal to 2. See that?
Yes, sir.
Agree with it. Good. And then now, so R is equal to 2. And then the first, I mean, to find the first term.
You would substitute the 2 into one of the equations.
Very good. Excellent. 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 So I'm going to use AR to the 4th equals 2. So I'm going to say using AR to the 4th equals 2. I'm going to put R to be equals now to 4. And 4 Rockstone. 446. 4 to the 4th is what? 256?
2 to the 4th?
4. Oh, it's 2.
Yes,
Is me have 4 now. 2 to the 4th is 16, don't?
Yes, sir.
So you have 16A equals.
A16 equals.
So you have 16A equals 2. So therefore A equals 1/8, don't?
Yes, sir.
All right, so A is equals to 1/8. All right, and then it's some of the first 5 terms. Now,
You use the equation S.
correct? You did admit already?
No, sir.
I mean, I'm very proud of you. You are very diligent. You're very diligent. Very good. You keep up. You keep up this. You put me under pressure to make sure that I can get more notes out to you guys. And as a matter of fact, yesterday I started making some notes on statistics because I need to, when I finish off Unit 1, I'm trying to finish off Unit 1 quickly so that I can jump to Unit 4, which is a unit on statistics, because I want us to do our SBA on statistics. So if you guys continue, all 3 of you are moving well. There is a 4th student that I don't know how to find. But when I finish off Unit 1, I want to move to, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I may just move to the statistics unit, finish off the statistics unit because it's not a long unit. And then that will be 2 units. Then I can start the calculus unit, which is Unit 3. And then I come back to the algebra unit. Not the algebra, the vectors unit, vectors and trigonometry, which is Unit 4. So very nice. So we're using this thing, and it says some of the first 5 terms. So you know, N is 5. All right, let me just put that information. So using that formula, where comma WHERE, N is equals to 5, comma, what else? A is equals to 1/8.
Yes, sir.
R
is equal to 2.
And r is equals to 2. Very good. Copy and paste. R is equals to 2. N is equals to 5. Let me put that right there. Paste n equals 5. All right, so n is equals to 5, a is equals to that, and that. So I'm just going to make a substitution now. Good job. So in substituting, I have a meeting I was saying before you joined the class, I told Julie and Orion that I have a meeting today at 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm going to run out. It's supposed to no more than 15 minutes. So I'm going to give you guys some assigned tasks. I may run out before they come back from chemistry class. So you can just tell them that I am running to a meeting and they can continue doing some work. And you can actually, having gone through to the geometry progression, because I've not started geometry with them yet, they can see how much work we've been doing. And you can guide them as they go along. All right, so I'm copying that and I'm going to paste that here, substitute my n to be 5, my r to be 2, my n is 5 there, my r here is 2, and my a is 1/8. Yes, my a is 1/8. And then all of that works out to be 2 to the 5th is 32.
Yes, sir.
So that's 32 minus 1.
Mhm.
And let me just copy and just paste it right here. So that is going to be 31 over 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is really 31. And then I'm going to have S5 to be equals to
1/8.
31 over 8 down.
31/8. Yes, sir.
And which is the same thing as
3 and
3 and
7
7/8.
is.
Good job, Kendra. Very good job as a matter of fact. Did you not see? Oh Lord, very good. All right, so move on. And and don't worry, I will resend this document so at least you can see the pages, the number of pages, and you can get copies of the new solution that I would have done there. I wrote the question, put the answer. Some of them I did answers, some of them I haven't. So the ones that you want me to go through, I mean, eventually I will get all the answers done up in the document. It's just at the time of preparing the document, it takes a while, as you would appreciate, to type and to put together. So over time, I'll have all the answers here ready and waiting for you guys. All right, so continue working, honey. Let me know if you have any issue here.
Okay, sir. Sir? Sir?
All right, Kendra, are you okay?
For the question, I'm not sure if this is correct. Because I'm getting a lot of this.
Um, no, man, I'm hearing you. I'm just trying to bring up the document. Which one? For which question?
Or in the Dropbox activity.
For the Dropbox activity. Or Rockstone.
I know, just tell me.
That one here?
Yes, sir.
What about it?
Yeah, for this one.
Oh, I got to the thing. There's no answer. I don't have the answer here, right? Okay, so I get you. I don't have the answer here, so you want to find out if the answer is correct. All right, no problem. Let me just copy that and work through that one with you. I have about 10 minutes before I move into the 11 o'clock meeting. So it says the fifth term of an AP is 1. The fifth term of an AP is 1, so we have AR to the what? Good. And the third term is AR to the?
Third term is AR to the second power.
Good, and it's equal to 60. Very nice. Very nice job on. And then now, there I'm going to have those A's cancel out, and we have 4 minus 2. And I'm going to have 2 minus 2. And that's 1 over 16. And then R squared is equal to 160. And then R is going to be equals to 1/4. That's okay?
Yes, sir.
Ouch, nice. Let me just correct that 1/16. So R is equals to 1/4. All right. Then now, they ask you for the first term. They ask you for the first term.
Can I work?
All right. So the first term. So which one we're going to use? We're going to use the AR to the 4th equals 1. Using AR to the 4th equals 1. R is equals to 1/4. And AR to the 4th. So 1/4 to the 5th is how much now? 1/4 to the 4th is what? 1 over 256?
1 over 256.
Huh?
1 over 256. 1 over 256.
1 256 A equals 1. Multiply both sides by 256. MULTIPL. Multiply both sides by 256 to give us A equals 256. That's what you got?
Multiply both sides by 256 equal. I got 1/256.
No man, if you remember, you know, a times 1/4 to the fourth power. 1/4 to the fourth power is 1/256. So you have a times 1/256 equals 1. So what we're trying to do now is to multiply both sides by 256 to get rid of that fraction by a.
Oh, that's where we asked.
Yeah, man. So if you put, yeah, so if you have all of that, so you need to reciprocate it really. And to double check your answer, you can try to the second equation and you should get the same 256 for your answer. Tell me that you agree with me.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. I have 3 minutes to do that. To log on for that, we just check to see the link was sent first before we start this one here. All right, so let us look at now what do you know?
Sum
The
of
sum?
the terms. So you use the other equation because the r is less than 1. Right, sir?
Very good. Oh, very nice. Very nice that you remember the conditions. All right, so we're using that. N is equals to, what is N?
5.
N is equals to? 5, yes. I was trying to find it. N is equals to 5. A is equals to 256. R is equals to
140.
R is equals to how much again?
1/4, sir.
1/4. R is equals to 1/4. All right, so S5A is equals to 256. And S5 R is 1/4. And R is less than 1, so you're going to be 1 minus 1/4. Very nice that you recognize that here, one. And that we can have 1 minus 1/4 to the 5th. So check to see if that's what you have. That's what you have? 1 minus 1/4 to the 5th. Are we using that formula because R is less than 1? Talk to me.
Yes, sir.
That's correct?
Yes, sir.
4 to the 5th is how much?
4 to the 5th is 1,024, sir.
1,024. You're going to have 1 minus 1,024. So you can have and 1 minus a quarter. 1 minus a quarter is 3/4. It's 3/4. What is 1 minus 1 over 124?
1 minus 1 over 2. So I got 0.9903.
Get 0 point how much?
02.
All right, you're very low. I'm not hearing you. Say it again. You get what?
0.9902, sir.
I do know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this as a fraction. 1024, 1024. I'm going to get 1024, 1024. I'm going to get 1023 over 1024. 1023 divided by 1024. I'm using fractions instead of decimals. And then I'm going to have copy, paste. I'm going to have 1023 multiplied by 3 over 4. What is 1023 times 1023 times 3 equals what?
1023.
Times 3.
What is what are you talking about?
Huh?
I don't understand.
I'm asking you to multiply 1023 times 3.
See, 3,069.
3069. And what is 1024 times 4?
1024 times 4. 4,096.
4096. And what is 256 times 10 times 3069? 256 times 3069.
3069. 785,664.
785,664.
664.
All right. Divide that by 4096 for me.
191.81.
191.81.
Yes, sir. To the 2DP. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't want you to talk. We're going to talk. 2DP.
All right. I'm gonna ask you to double check for me. I'm going
Okay,
into the
sir.
meeting. I'm going into the meeting now.
Yes, sir.
So I will have to press pause just for a moment.
Yes,
Hola. So I'm going to press pause for a moment. So I'm just going to ask that you double check. I'm going to put this on, keep this on the screen, and you double
yes,
check
sir.
this for me here.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, coming back. Cool.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
I'm back. I'm Jilly. Kendra will talk to you here. As
can
soon
hear.
come.
So just, alright.
I'm not sure when I reach, but sir says supposed to continue read to the document, and him soon come back because I got a meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. One, seven, four, yeah. So why is that? Hold on. Hold on. That was to be the case of it is so long. I mean, yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, and good morning, rather. Welcome back, Jilly and Orient. Orient, come back. Okay. Jilly gone? No, I'm not.
Really?
All right. Okay, so if you look at this now, if you look at this, all right, Orion, are you following what is happening?
Yes,
Kendra
sir.
did very well. I mean, look here. This is where we are. Watch the document. Watch the document. Come on, not document. Buruf, buff. Kendra almost finished. 2 more pages. 2 more pages, and we will finish with the document. All right, Kendra, I need your help because I was rushing to do the calculation. Let me see if I can
Sir.
grab my. I made an error with the calculation, Kendra.
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on a minute, please. All right. Okay, Kendra, where I went wrong?
The division. So we're dividing the 3/4. Wouldn't you reciprocate?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 4/3. Yeah.
Yes. So that's where you went answer.
Give me here. Was trying to meet this meeting on time. So it's supposed to be 1023 times 4 is 4092. And 1024 times 3 is 3072. And 256 times 4096. Why? 10,48576. And then for my final answer, I'm going to get 341 and 1/3. That's what you got?
341? Hold on, sir. 492, 256. 256 times. So that's not what I got, you know. Let me check. So I got 338.5.
It's 338.5?
Yes, sir. Oh, hold on. So we have different figures. But in my calculation, should be 104. So I got 104. I got 103. 256 times 5. Oh, So it was my calculation. It was my
Guess what?
calculation.
No, but guess what? I did over the calculation, and I'm getting exactly 341.
341. Wait, my calculator.
I did a calculation over, and I'm getting exactly 341. 256 times 1 minus a quarter raised to the 5th power over 1 minus a quarter. I'm getting exactly 341 on my calculator. So 1 minus 0.25 to the 5th power equal
256 times
10, 1023 over 1024. That's correct. 1023 over 1024 is correct, divided by 3/4.
So I got 341.33.
You get 341.33?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm gonna know when I do wrong with the calculator then. Divided by 0.75 equal 341 over, no, something is wrong, you know, because I'm getting 341 over 256. Something's not right. Because then I get 1024 divided by 0.75. This is giving me 341 over 256. 4 2 is 12, 4 2 is 19, 3 4 is 12, 3 2 6 is 17. 4092 divided by 3072 equals to, yeah man, it's 340. Do my favorite, Kendra. Put in 1048576. Do this division for me. Do this that division for me. 1048576
Yes, sir.
divided by 3072.
So I get 341.33.
Something all right then, because when I do it on the calculator, I'm getting 341. Ah.
Why? Because the calculator I round it off or something.
I have good calculator, man. We are talking about.
So I don't know because I'm getting the 3.41.
You get the 0.33.
Yes, sir.
All right, so maybe the multiplication is off then. 4092 times 256. Ah, that's the problem. Is 1047552. Check that for me, please. 256 times 4092.
Sorry, come again.
256
times
4092.
4092. Hold on. 256 times 4092. So 1047552.
You see the error? We have 1048576.
Yeah.
It's 1047552. Divided by 3072 now, and voila, 341.
Voila.
Yeah. That's why I always encourage you guys to get a good calculator so you can plug in everything in it at once to double check your answers, because sometimes we do make slight miscalculations, and those miscalculations come in play when we don't clear our calculators and we start, inserting other digits inside of it, and it stores it. So, always try to clear it before you do another round of calculation. But yeah, correct. Orion, your silence is deafening. You're shouting so loudly.
Sir, may I read, sir?
Okay.
Some to infinity.
What's
All
that?
right. All right. So let me just highlight that point now. Orion, please to catch up. Kendra is here to go through and to assist you. This is collaborative work. Just press pause, Orion, so I can talk about the sum to infinity. Now the sum to
Repeat that,
infinity,
sir.
I'm saying Kendra is here. She has already gone through GP. So I'm saying both of you can have a conversation. She can tell you what it is that she has learned from it. In telling you, she will concretize the concepts and you will learn what it is that you are not getting. Then I will come back and talk to you about it. What I'm saying to you is the sum to infinity, the sum to infinity is calculated by, okay, before I tell you what it's calculated by, when I calculate the sum to infinity, it means that I have a convergent series. It means that the series converges. It means that the more I get into the series, is closer I get to zero. And that only happens when I have my value of r being a fraction. So the series converges when r is a fraction. When r is a whole number, the series diverges. What do I mean by that? Because r to the n, when r is 1 and n is, say, 2, 1 squared is 1. But when r is 2 and n is 2, we are going to 4. And when it is 3 and it is 2, we are going to 9. And when it is 4, it's 2, we are going to 16. So r becomes larger. So when r is a whole number, the series diverges. And diverges mean that it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But when you have a fraction for your r, for your common ratio, the series converges. It means it gets smaller and smaller. Sir, why? Because when I have 1/2 squares is a quarter. 1/2 cubes is 1/9. 1/2 to the 4th is 1/16. 1/2 to the 5th is 1/25. 1r to the that is 1/36. So once the denominator gets larger and larger and larger and larger, it simply means that our series converges. All right? Because 1 over a whole number approaches 0. Can you hold on for me, please? All right, sorry about that. Another EducaSoft issue that I just resolved. All right, let's go. So now, so remember, the series converges when r is a fraction. So you won't hear me ask you to calculate the sum to infinity. Let us look back at the first question that we did, Kendra. You know that r was 2 right here, so you see, r is equal to 2.
Yes,
And you know
sir.
that the question ended right there. Don't you never see me calculate the sum to infinity?
No, sir.
Because there is no sum to infinity for this case, because r is a whole number. In this case now, when the value of r is 1/4, I can now ask you to calculate the sum to infinity, because the sum to infinity can only be calculated when r is a fraction. So what's the formula for the sum to infinity, see here? S infinity is not an 8. S infinity is equal to a over 1 minus r. Is equal to a over 1 minus r. Where am I? All right, where A is 256. And R is
1/4.
1/4. So we are going to be substituting the value of A to be 256 and the value of R to be 1/4. And all we do is just evaluate that. All we do, we evaluate. 1/4 is the same thing as 1 minus a quarter is the same thing as 3/4.
Yes, sir.
And then what we're going to have next is
4/3.
very
356
good.
times 4/3.
Times 4/3, very good. And we invert and multiply. I'm going to have 4 divided by 3. And all of this is 256. And that is going to give us what now? 256 times 4 equals 1024. All over 3. And that's 341 and a now we get our 341 and a third.
Yep.
Agreed?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Ouch. So what I'm saying to you is the sum to infinity. If you go greater than 5 terms, 6 terms, 7 terms, 8 terms, 9 terms, 10 terms, whatever number of terms you go to, it won't get more than 341 and a third. That's the largest number it can get to. So we got close to it in calculating the sum of the first 5 terms, that's 341. But the sum to infinity, that means the sum of the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 100, 1 millionth, 1 billionth, 1 quadrillionth, 1 septillionth.
Yes,
All
sir.
you can get more to it is just 1/3, nothing more. That's what it means. All right? Okay, can you try 5 for me, please?
Sir?
Can you go through 5 for me?
Yes, sir.
Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. My people, my people, my people, my people, my people. How are we?
So I'm finished with number 5.
Nice. And you don't have a problem with it, right?
No, sir.
Orion, how you stay? What's your, you not talk to me? All right. I have 4 mixed questions here. When I say mixed questions, questions on AP, GP. I'm going to ask you to go through them. Matter of fact, I did the solutions to all of them. Go through, see if you agree with me. And then what I want to do is, all being well on Wednesday, I want us to just give us a test. Remember now, on Wednesday, Orion and Julie has chemistry from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So we will begin class at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. All right, Julie? Kendra? Are you
Yes.
okay with that time?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what I want to do, I want to give you a test on Wednesday. Because technically, you know, AP and GP finish. There's nothing more to AP and GP, you know. This document completes AP and GP. So I can now give you a test on, what do you call it? On AP, GP, sequence and series, indices, logarithms, and series. So all those areas, 5 areas, is what you then get to your test on. AP, GP, indices, logarithms, and series. And then, and it's not for the whole class that I'm giving the test. The test may be about 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then I'll move on into another area. So I'm going to see now if I can start preparing those notes. Very good. I'm proud of you all. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and prepare the notes now for another unit. So it is that we can be ready for our next class. If I can take up beforehand, I will do that so that you can start your preparation before class. But very well though, you did very well, guys. All the best.
Okay, sir.
Bye-bye.
Buy your class now.